Peace. Good morning, family. This is Mr. R2 here at Consistency is Currency, your definite morning podcast of choice, and I thank and I appreciate you for being here. So today is April. I had to look I didn't see it earlier this morning. Today is April the 13th, Wednesday. So today is Wednesday, April the 13th, and I appreciate you for being here. There was someone who did not make it to see today. There were lives that was lost yesterday. There were homes that was lost yesterday. But I am thankful that you are actually here to be a part of this morning podcast, and I 1000% appreciate you. Good morning, Mr. Trisha, Miss Collins. Good morning, Miss Selena. Good morning, Miss Barry. And I thank you for being here as well. So today is going to be a very, very, very good day. Today is a good session. So we're going to be talking about be courageous, and I'm going to give you five steps to be courageous. So I'm going to give you 5 things to increase uh, your level of courage and your level of being courageous, because courageous is really the characteristics of being courage. So we're going to be talking about that after I fix this mic. We're going to be talking about that today. So, hey, make sure you like this, share this, subscribe. Those are on YouTube, those on the podcast, I appreciate you. And those that are on Facebook, go ahead and share this on your timeline or inside of a active Facebook group, because we're going to be dropping straight jewels today. So here we go. Hey, before we get started, what I want you to say is to be courageous. Tell yourself that. Put it in the chat. Be courageous, because what I want you to do today is manifest these things in your life. Manifest these things by words, manifest these things by actions, because all 5 things that you can use today, you can actually start today, and you can continue the process as the days progress, as your life goes and grows. These 5 things that I'm going to be dropping today, you can actually start using them, or you can continue to use them if this is where you already are with being courageous. So go ahead and put be courageous inside of the chat. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into it. Let me see which side I want to start on. All right, here we go. All right, be courageous. All right, so like we already know, we go through the definition of the words, and then after the definition of the words, we invert it and we talk about the new design wording that is being used. So let's go ahead and get into the definition of courageous. The definition, as it states, of courageous is not deterred by danger or pain, brave. And courageous is having or characterized by courage, not deterred by danger or pain, brave, having or characterized by courage. How many of you out there have courage? If that's you, put courage inside the chat. Profess who you are, or where you are in your life, because that the person that is courageous is characterized by courage. So that means the things that you do, the persona, the energy that you project out is that of someone who has courage. Like, that is a very courageous person. That person exudes that type of energy. That's what makes that person courageous, because again, as you see, it is characterized by courage. So we're focusing on not deterred by danger or pain or brave. So why are we focusing on that? We're focusing on this because it's not saying that it's going to be happy days all the time. It's not saying that there's always going to be a sunshiny day, or the pain won't come, or there will be the absence of fear. It is saying it is not deterred by danger or pain. That means pain is going to be there, but what do you do when the pain exists? Standing and looking fear and pain in the eyes and telling, I'm not going nowhere. I'm right here. I will save that because we got some more. All right. So again, the definition is not deterred by danger or pain, being brave, having or characterized by courage. And let's talk about courage because it states characterized by courage. So what is courage, Mr. R2? Courage is defined. It says courage is the choice and willingness to confront agony, pain, danger, uncertainty, or intimidation. Again, it's not saying that you won't go through something because everyone knows that you will. So let's go through to the inversion part. Courage is the choice. And that's where we're going to stay. Courage is the choice. It's just like stress. Stress is not something that always happens, but stress is how you respond to those things that happen. I'm going to say that again because someone obviously needed to hear that today, because stress is not the situation. Stress is the response to the situation that you're in, or stress is the response to the situation that you found yourself in. But that's when you execute the characteristics of courage. The willingness to confront the agony, the willingness to confront the pain, the willingness to confront the danger, the willingness to confront the uncertainty, the willingness to no longer be intimidated because I am staring intimidation in the face, because I choose courage over my pain. I choose courage over the agony. I choose courage over the danger, because the uncertainties may be where it's going to take me out of my comfort zone, that is going to put me in a position to be encouraged, as well as put me in a position to be of courage. So now let's go into these 5 steps that I want you to take, and I want you to identify if there is something that resonates with you or something that you can identify with. Put that in the chat and communicate about it, because there may be someone who has yet possessed the ability to stand up, whether it is for themselves or stand up for the situation in order for them to come out of it. Courage is having the ability to come out of the situation that you were in. Again, we talked about stress. Stress is the responsive way that you chose, because again, stress is a response or a choice, just like courage is a choice, because stress is the response that you chose. Stress was the response that you chose how you chose to deal with that particular situation or that thing. But when you choose courage, you have the ability to stare that in the face. Tell pain that I'm not worried about you today, pain, because I felt you before, and I remember what I did the last time I felt that way. All right. So, number 1, I want you to acknowledge your fears. Acknowledge your fears. Stop telling yourself that it don't exist, because we all know that's a bold-faced lie. That is a lie that you tell yourself because you're trying to brush it under the rug, because you don't want to accept that the fear exists. Acknowledge the fears, and that will begin to open your mindset to tell you that because I acknowledge my fears, I begin to choose courage. You can't overcome your fears if you don't acknowledge that there is a fear of uncertainty, or there is an emotion that is carried when I get into this particular space. But when you acknowledge that you feel that way when you're in that space or in that situation, don't you know you have the ability to open other doors to walk out and away from that pain, because you've acknowledged that it exists? Because when you acknowledge that it exists, it will actually begin to show you that you can actually work through it, because we all have them. But you can't be afraid and be ashamed of your fears, or to acknowledge that you have a fear, because bravery is not the elimination of fear, but bravery is having the ability to move forward despite of being afraid. So number one is to acknowledge your fear. Is if that's you and where you are, or if that's you and where you came from, put number one. If you've ever been in that situation, put number one and tell number one that I got this. I'm not afraid of you anymore because I know that the bravery that is within inside me is the bravery that is going to get me through this, and the bravery that is going to get me into the position to confront it. And that's number two. Confront it, not running away from it, not trying to side talk it, not trying to over talk it, not trying to under talk it, but confronting it head on. Because what you would do is you will begin to realize that your fear is really your ego trying to protect itself from diminishing. Because sometimes your ego will put you in a position to where you begin to no longer be brave anymore, but you have to understand when you're getting in that position, the reality of it is the experience can only make you stronger. The experience is not going to make you weaker. The confrontation of the pain is not going to make you weaker, but it's going to make you strong, because when you confront it, then you know how to deal with it when you see it again. Because trust me, the pain is not over. The pain is just the beginning, because if the process is along the journey, then the destination will be achieved when you understand that I am going to confront this head on and I'm not afraid anymore, because I know what it felt like when I was here before. And when you know what it feels like because you were here before, then you're going to have to begin to talk positive into your life. And those that know and understand, I'm a true proponent when it comes to talking to yourself. And you already know what I say when it comes to self, whatever. Self means that is your responsibility. That is you taking on the activity or the actions or the activation of whatever comes after the hyphen. But this is self-talk. I am taking the responsibility of positively talking to myself, communicating to myself, because self-talk is the inner voice that is inside of you, the inside of your head that reveals your beliefs or your thoughts. So what do you say to you when you feel afraid? What do you say to you when you're feeling not so like yourself? What do you say to you when your emotions is getting the best of you? What do you say to you when you're feeling like I'm not supposed to be here, but I kind of feel like I'm supposed to be here, but I don't know where I'm going to go? Stop confusing yourself. That is a confrontation that you're having inside of your head. That's not something someone is putting on you, but that is something that you are putting on yourself. So therefore, you can't take the weight anymore because you put the weight on you. Use that positive self-talk to talk yourself out of being afraid, and talk yourself into confronting it. Talk yourself into acknowledging what the fear is, because when the fear begins to take shape in the form of an emotion, that emotion has the ability to take you out of the blessing, and it has the ability to take you out of the walk because you talked yourself out of it. And when you do that, that's when you begin to understand that I need to make being brave a habit. That's number 4. Remember, we have 5. Number 4 is make being brave a habit. Stop running from it. Remember what being brave felt like when you was brave for the first time. Remember something that you used to be afraid of and you're no longer afraid of it. Remember how you felt like your chest kind of poked out and you start to feel good about yourself. You probably even started a little skip, or you probably even started to hum a particular song because you felt brave, because you noticed that you wasn't afraid anymore, or you felt brave because you noticed that you began to speak up for yourself. And that feeling that you felt at that time, you know that, don't you know that you have the ability to duplicate that feeling again? Because now you're being brave a habit. You're not running from it because you're making it a habit. Because once you've conquered your fear for the first time, don't stop there. Strengthen your fearlessness like a muscle. Create being brave a muscle. Create being courageous a muscle. Just like in your natural life, if you want to work on your abs, you're going to do ab exercises. You're not going to work on your abs and start doing curls. You're not going to say, I want to get a six pack and start bench pressing or start doing pull-ups. You're going to do things that's going to work that particular muscle. In order for you to develop that muscle and to shape that muscle, you're going to have to do the things that is going to create that shape that you want by creating the activities that is going to allow it to take shape. That's when you're doing activities that is going to make your bravery a habit. Because when you're working on that muscle, you're going to have the ability to overcome those fears on a regular basis because you've made it a habit. And the last one is to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness for me, I've learned more about mindfulness in the past 2 years than I've paid attention to in my lifetime. I'm 46 now, but I've paid attention to in my lifetime. I think a lot of times we see mindfulness as something spooky and scary, and grandmama probably say, "Oh, that's of the devil." Man, stop. Mindfulness is knowing where you are in your thoughts, practicing those things that are inside of your head. Mindfulness could be you speaking life into yourself and knowing how you feel when you're feeling that way. Because you're always afraid of what might happen to you. Nothing might not be happening, but that's you. That might be you. You're always afraid of what might happen to you, not what actually is happening and being present in that moment. The fear that you reserve for you doesn't have to be reserved for you. You know that you can reserve strength. Like when people say, I don't have anything in me, but you do. Because you can reserve that strength that you have inside of you, because the fear actually can turn into intimidation, but you can't be intimidated by the danger. You cannot, because when you're intimidated by the danger, you begin to feel a unease or some sort of anxiety, or to worry about the future being a made up problem because you put that on you. Because when you practice mindfulness, you actually begin to learn how to observe your thoughts. You begin to learn how to observe when you're feeling a certain way. You learn how to observe how to positively do self-talk. Learn how to confront that thing. That's when you understand that what you're talking about really begins to learn how teaching and learning how to communicate, because you understood my thoughts are my thoughts, but my convictions are the activities of my thoughts. So tell yourself today to be encouraged. Tell yourself today is my day. The things that you are afraid of, confront those things, because it's not going anywhere until you say something to it or until you do something about it. Being courageous is the activation of your courage. I'm going to say that again. Being courageous is the activation of your courage, confronting it, seeing it for what it is, not creating it out of something that doesn't exist, but actually seeing it for what it is. Because when you see it for what it is, don't you know that you have the ability to see past your situation? Again, stress is a response, but courage is the activation after the response have taken over. That's when you activate courage. That's when the courage that is within you actually comes up and comes out of you. It spews out of your mouth, because that's the energy that you're going to need in order for you to manifest those things that need to come to pass, and be courageous enough to do it again. All right, that's enough. Y'all got it. Y'all got it. But hey, y'all be blessed and be courageous. Be actively courageous. Be proactively courageous. I mean, if you find yourself being reactive, you're being reactive based off of your response of what you're dealing with. But be proactive to ensure that you understand how to deal with it when it's time for you to respond again. Man, I probably need to write that down. But nah, y'all be blessed. And remember, this is what we do right here at Consistency is Currency, and do it over and over and over again. I'll see you in the morning tomorrow at 7:30. Y'all be blessed.